Afternoon for the POLAR Husky demo webinar. My name is Alex Dolezal, Team Leader Digital Health and Quality Improvement at Central and Eastern Sydney PHN. Before we begin, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians and sovereign people of the land across which we work. I recognize the continuing connection to land, water and community and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. I also extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. Please note this event is being recorded. Please post your questions to the Q&A function. The evaluation survey will be emailed to you after the webinar. We appreciate your feedback. Please complete this to allow us to issue certificates of attendance. Upcoming CPD events are listed on our website. The presenter for today's webinar is Diego Benitez, Service Desk Manager, Outcome Health. With a career spanning over 2 decades in IT, Diego joined the POLAR support team in 2019. Now he's channeling his expertise into a new focus on training and education. Please welcome Diego.
Thanks, Alex. Let's get started. Apologies, I put up the wrong slides. Okay, my screen's gone funny. Just bear with me. There we go. Cool. Apologies about that. Technology always lets you down when you best need it. So today we're going to be doing the POLAR Explorer Husky Report, which is an appointment optimization tool. It's a very straightforward report, shouldn't take you too much of your time, but it's a very powerful report for practices to use. Okay, what is Husky? As I mentioned earlier, it's an appointment optimization tool. So it currently works with best practice and medical director, and it plugs into your appointment tool. It looks at your appointments for the day and up to 2 weeks. And it gives you insights on MBS opportunities for your practice. It gives you the daily insight on your potential revenues, depending on what MBS items potentially being able to be claimed by your practice, by your patients. It does integrate with PRODA, so it will check if these MBS items have been claimed elsewhere, and it will let you know whether those items are still eligible or not eligible. It's live data, so if a patient makes an appointment in the morning, it will show up in your dashboard, in your Husky dashboard within 10 minutes of that appointment being made. It's also got some customized printable reports, depending on your workflow on your practice, to communicate between the practice manager or a clinician, or whether your practice own clinician, one man runs the whole, woman runs the whole show. Depending on how you do your workflows, you can have a printout of everything that's going on in your practice for the day. And we will go into that a little bit later on, so this will make more sense. It also has a few filterable items that will allow you to identify things like patients that are at risk of missing appointments. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into the report. So you'll be familiar with this page. So you go reports, web reports, and then we'll go Husky. This is all demo data, so don't worry about anything that you see here. It's all demo data. This tile only appears when you subscribe to the Husky, and I will go into that a little bit further than the presentation. So I'll make this a little bit bigger for everyone to see. So at a glance, this is what it looks like. It's one page that shows you all your appointments for the day. Okay, so we've got the highlighted day in light blue, and then we've got a settings menu, the little magic wand that we use to do the PRODA We've got a highlight menu that this is allows you to identify particular items that you want to focus on. And then we've got a little legend here that explains what all these colors are. So we've got the light blue, which is provider session. So we've got Desmond Tutu, who's available for the day, but he hasn't had any appointments made. Then we've got the light blue, which is eligible for additional services. The cross, which is services have been excluded from PRODA, and this makes more sense once we do a PRODA check. Then we've got the dark blue with the lines, which means all services that were previously eligible have now been excluded by the PRODA check. And the dark blue, which is not eligible for any services at all. And then the orange, which is the highlighted category that I will show you a little bit later. So if we put your mind, these are all your appointments for the days, and you can see all the gaps in between. And you can basically see, half an hour appointments, hour appointments, and how long the appointment goes for. But at a glance, if you put the mouse, click over a patient, it will give you a bit of a summary. Okay, but the standard, what type of appointment it is, patient name, age, and what time the appointment is at. Go for this one, for example. This one's got one service available, so you can see that down the bottom there, services available 1. This one's got 4. Now, if you click on the actual patient, it will give you a more detailed information. So it gives you still the type of appointment, and the beginning of the appointment and the end, patient information, and then what sort of MBS items this patient is eligible for, whether they've had it before and eligible date. Now the question mark here, and this will get asked a lot, so I think I'll make a mention. This means the patient could not be matched to PRODA, or PRODA check has not been run. So anything that you see with a question mark, we haven't done a PRODA check for, or if you could not be matched for PRODA, there's potentially a mismatch of Medicare numbers between PRODA and your clinical information system. Okay. So we click on another one, we can see this patient doesn't have any eligible information, MBS items, so it will just give you standard information about the patient and the appointment. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to the magic wand, and you want to do a PRODA check on the active days, or you can do a PRODA check with all active days. So like I mentioned earlier, the light blue is the highlighted day, which makes it the active day. If it's grayed out, that means there's no appointments for that day, and the dark is the day before, obviously yesterday, and that's a future functionality that you'll be able to see what was recommended and what was claimed. So to see if that communication between the practitioner and the practice manager, etc., whoever is managing the Husky, whether they've been action or not. So we're going to go back to Tuesday. And another thing that we can do also before we do the PRODA check is we can go to the sales menu and we can show it the service values. Okay, so we click on that. You can see that the potential additional services revenue for all the unclaimable or potentially claimable MBS items is of $6,700. Okay, and if we go back to that patient with the 4, what was it? It tells you the potential revenue for that patient there. So it's got 1 service available, potential revenue of $79.70. And if you click on that patient, it will tell you the patient's eligible for a heart health check. Okay, there was one with 4, this one. So this one is eligible for $312. Obviously, some of them overlap each other, so you best pick the best care for the patient. So we're going to go ahead and do the PRODA check. I'm going to do it for today. And let's keep in mind those 4 items that we looked at before. Gives you a bit of a disclaimer. Okay, you can click on it to not show again. I'll just confirm it. And then it will give you an option for all those patients that have not have a provider assigned to them. So we'll go ahead and match those providers if you wanted to, but we want to do a check for Dr. Who because I'm curious about that patient that had the 4 eligible items. Okay, so we're going to execute PRODA. and you're going to see a little progress bar there, and that means it's done. It's very quick. Even if you do the 2 weeks, it's very quick, the check that we do. That's done. So you can see anything that's got the red dot, we didn't actually match with PRODA because we didn't assign a provider. So that means that it's still not checked, and the same dot will show here. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and look at those services from before. I believe it was this one. Yeah, so now we can see that out of those 4 eligible items that were showing before, now there's 3 that have been removed because they've been claimed elsewhere. Okay, but you're still eligible to claim one plan. So this is actually a really good example. This data changes every day, so it's good that we actually managed to see one that's got both. So you can see the little red. It means it's been matched to PRODA and it's not eligible for the service. And then you can see the tick, obviously, it's been matched for this service. Okay, but now we wanted to see Morgan Freeman or Valentino Rossi. So if we go ahead and do a PRODA check again, it's same with the pop-up, we're going to go patient name, and we're going to go Valentino Rossi. We're going to assign Dr. Doolittle for a couple of their patients. And then we're going to execute the PRODA. Okay, we can see now that that's it's been matched to PRODA, and now it's got one eligible MBS item still for that patient. And we can see all the other patients. They should have turned that color. I'm going to have to talk to the developers because it's not eligible for any items at all. So I'll talk to the devs. There's something going on there. It could be my test system. I have to double check. Cool. But that's cool. Now we've done the PRODA check. It's been done for the day. And now what do I do with this? I'll say, okay. Before I go into that, this is a highlight menu, which highlights a specific item. So if we want to know who's been registered for my Medicare, we can hover quickly to see a little bit of a highlight, or we can tick it and then that will stay. Oh, I didn't quite tick it. And that will stay. It's only if you want to see it quickly that you can hover over the change. Obviously, not many of these patients have been registered, so you see a lot of orange, but you can still sort of see the lines to see what's whether they're eligible or not. Okay, we've got other items here, like we've got the GPCCMP as well. We can see who is eligible for those, and they're highlighted on your dashboard. Cool. So one of the things that we can do after we've run the PRODA, we do all the highlights if we wish. Let's go into the provider view, which is by clicking on a provider. So I wanna focus on Doctor Who. Doctor Who's got quite a lot of GPCCMP patients that are eligible for, and you can see that they're still highlighted on this menu. Okay, so it acts the same way as the dashboard. If you put your mouse over it, it will tell you what they're eligible for, and if you click on it, it will give you a summary of what they're eligible for, name, appointment information, but it also gives you a bit of a appointment print report. So we can write a note here, book for heart health check, and that will stay there. So when you go to print this off or export it to PDF, those notes will be visible for the practitioner. Okay. So we click away and we can see that it's got a little sort of like notepad with a pencil. That means that we already written notes for this patient. Okay. But then we can go on Audrina, available 3 services, and click on that. And then we can say the same thing, make further appointments. I'm not sure what the comps will be between the person writing this and the practitioner. So make further appointments, things like that. Okay. We can go down the list. This has been claimed elsewhere, so they're not eligible for any further MBS items. So what we do now is we go to the print. We can print with extra space for handwritten notes. So if you feel more comfortable writing the notes rather than typing them and then printing them, you can allow that space. And then you can either export MBS data on the PDF or not. So if I include the MBS data, things like this in the background will export. And if I export with notes, it'd be a box much bigger than this to write aloud handwritten notes. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of an example. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to do generate PDF. Okay, and you can see that it's got quite a large space for handwritten notes, and it's got the MBS items included. So if we look at this one, it's got all the MBS items eligible for and the notes that we want to pass on to the practitioner. Okay, so if we do the same, but we get rid of those things, you can see that it's only the notes that we wrote on the practitioner are exported, and there's no MBS items displayed. Okay. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I know some suggestions that we've had in the past. If you want to export this at 12 o'clock, we don't want everything else included because it's already happened. And also, if the patient, there's no actionable items for the patient, why do we need to include them? There's suggestions that have already been made, and we're taking this into consideration as well for future releases. And I will tell you about future releases that are coming as early as this week, early next week, that are already in the testing pipeline, and it'll be very exciting. Cool. All right, so once we do that, you got to bear in mind that these notes don't save at this stage. So if you get out of this page or refresh the Husky report, these notes will disappear. They will not stay. That's again for future functionality. Okay. To go back to the dashboard, which is go back to the little home button, pre-self-explanatory, and then it takes you back to this page. Cool. Just any questions, let me know. This is it for the Husky dashboard. I will go over a few things as well. Pretty straightforward. Question that I get asked a lot: when it does for the PRODA check, it doesn't check if it's been claimed at your practice or other practice. It just checks that it's been claimed. There is works to check that if it's been claimed at your practice, or if your patient is registered with My Medicare for your practice, that's future functionality that we are working on. Okay, the Husky is relatively new report. It's been out for less than a year, so we're still working on a lot of improvements. Okay, and talking of improvements, it's a good segue to go into what's coming. Okay, so what we're working on, it's actually being tested as we speak, the performance improvement. So the Husky will run even faster. There's a little unintended there. The function to auto-run PRODA check when your Husky is open if enabled by the settings. So rather than have to go here and do this and do this, that will automatically happen if you select it. I think that's a great, I think this is pretty useless without running the PRODA. I mean, it gives you an insight, but it could be very inaccurate. So for the ability to run that automatically when you access a report, I think that's really, really good. The function to apply assign provider to all assigned when doing the PRODA check. So this is the one here. So when we do this, we can click one provider, say apply all, and then it will assign all these missing provider names for these patients for the one. And this is a pretty easy example. It's only about 7, 8 plus the 2 or 3 that we did before, but there's some practices that I could have 30, 40, maybe 50 patients at once, and that can be quite time consuming. Yeah, that's one change. This is a really cool one, the ability to search for a patient, whether they've got to see what they're eligible for and whether they're still eligible for after running the PRODA, whether they've got an appointment or not. So if we go back here, we've got the little magnifying glass here. We'll be able to put the magnifying glass. I'm not 100% sure if you need to punch in the patient ID from your clinic information system or the patient name. That will be out in the release notes when we do make the changes to Husky either this week or next week. But that's something that it's been asked for a very long time as well, pretty much since the beginning. So they don't have to have an appointment. You can just punch in and do 1, 2. I'm not sure if you can do multiple at once, but that's cool functionality. If it's highlighted, yeah. So pretty much, if we select, say, cardiovascular disease, and we go, oh, I picked the one with no patients. We go here, it will highlight on the PDF when we export it whether they've been highlighted for cardiovascular disease. Cool. So that's coming very, very, very soon. I suspect either this week or next week, depending how the testing goes and if we find any issues with that testing. Okay. So what do we do now? Cool. Now you've got, you looked at Husky, you saw Husky, you want to subscribe. We're currently running a promotion with Central Eastern Sydney PHN where we offer the practices 50% discount, and the discount code is CESPEN50. So I will post that up on the chat right now. So it's CESPEN50 for 50% off. Okay, that's 50% the whole year subscription. I don't have access to in the test, I don't have access to the subscription page, so I can't show you. That's why I've got a couple of slides here. So you basically, you go to management, and the management is subscriptions. I've got the wrong screenshot here. And it will take you to this page. In that page, you will subscribe to the yearly subscription to take advantage of the 50% off. And then you go to the next page, which will tell you what you've been signed up for if you're going to go back and have a look at your subscriptions. Okay, I can see Alex posted a couple of links here. I'm just going to make sure everyone can have a look. Oh. And then you've got the ability for that same page to see all your billing or what you've been charged for and when your next billing cycle is. Cool. So this is it for the Husky. So if anyone's got any question, again, that code is CESPEN50. You can subscribe at half price, which will bring it down to just over $500 for a year, which is about $40 a month. That's pretty good. And I believe I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure you're eligible to use this code up to, is it mid next year? I have to find that. I find out the exact information when this code is valid for, and then I will pass that information to Alex at his team so he can pass it on to you. I will be sharing the slides. We'll be sharing a couple of links as well. And it gives you how to use these. Yeah, thanks, Yvonne. Yvonne just confirmed. You can use this discount code right up to the 1st of June 2026, and then you will get 12 months at 50% from that point onwards. Very, very good price. And we do have things coming, like I just mentioned, and we're constantly working on the Husky report. Cool. There's some more questions. Any questions at all? Alex, is there anything you wanted to say before we close it off?
Sure. Thank you, Diego, for your presentation. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will email you the evaluation survey shortly. I've already pasted the link in the chat, so you should have access to it, but we will email it to you later this afternoon. Please complete evaluation survey. We appreciate your feedback and ongoing support. I would like to remind all attendees that CESPEN has a 50% discount code for our practices for the first year subscription for POLAR Husky, which is CESPEN50, and it's been pasted into the chat. and it is valid till 30th of June 2026. We have a number of repeat POLAR webinars scheduled for October, and namely these are POLAR 1 on 15th of October, POLAR Husky Demo on 22nd October, and POLAR 2 Advanced on 30th of October 2025. They're all lunch and learn, so if you've got any colleagues who could not attend today, please do not forget to invite them. Otherwise, nice facilitating this session. Thank you, Diego, and I look forward to seeing you at our future webinars.
Yeah, likewise. And we'll be sharing the link to this webinar as well. So if you want to share it with your, if you're not the decision maker for your practice, you can share it with the person who is, and you can they can have a look as well. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone,
Thanks, Diego.
and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.